variance to build 3 feet and then build
No,
a 2-story house,
Right.
that connection to the
no, this is not an easement appertendent, or a variance appertendent, this is a variance for this specific project, this specific.
Well,
area.
they're asking for a variance to build within 3 feet of the property line. And the condition is you can build within 3 feet of the property line if you build a solar panel to these dimensions that's no taller than that. These are the dimensions it has to fit if you're going to be within 3 feet of the property line. Otherwise, that may impact y'all's decision if this thing was a 10-foot high structure or
Right.
something different. It's going to be 5 feet, yes.
Right.
And that's the dimensions you've given us, and we're just saying that the variance will be for the,
All right,
what you
see
want to
your
build.
point.
Just-
Okay,
Just so we're not, sometimes we grant variances and we know that someone's gonna extend the roof line out and it's gonna be all the way from the ground to top. This is a little unique. They're building solar panels, so you don't want somebody interpreting this variance to be able to build anything within 3 feet of the property line. It's just the solar panels to these dimensions.
okay. So, well, then, what are we're looking to amend.
Not to amend it, that's, I would just say that's a clarification, because we're gonna put that as the recommendation to the commission.
Okay, well, then I think we need to amend our recommendation.
If you want, that's,
Well, I'd feel comfortable doing that.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, would you amend your recommendation to this specific project, no more than 5 feet in height?
Yes, I would recommend that we amend to the specific solar panel dimensions that are set forth in front of us, and I have a motion to approve it.
Okay. Second continues, all righty, then we're all set. Now we're ready to call the question, please.
Dennis Smith,
Yes.
John Daniel,
Yes.
Tony Casada,
yes.
Kim Nguyen, Mike Meyer.
Yes. When will these folks need to show up for the motion carries?
Yes. They're going to show up. It will be the first meeting in this month at the commission, so it will be this Tuesday.
Okey-doke. Y'all understand that? We're recommending an approval. We're recommending that they approve it. They approve it, we don't. Okay? All right. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming in. All right, let's move on. Mr.
Oh, I have to stand.
Yes, ma'am. If you,
So,
come on, tell us your name and tell us where you're
my
from.
name is Holly Dragon, and I'm the homeowner. I'm also a designer, and the house is over 100 years old, and it's really, it's historic, and it really is looking great, and it's going to look so beautiful in this town. So it's something we should all be proud of. We're proud of it. It's on its way.
I agree.
It's been
I drive by it
taking a
almost
while.
every day.
Yeah, it's been taking a long time.
All right.
So,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Steele, are you ready to bring us the item number 2?
Okay. Again, Josh Steele, you guys already know who I am. The second item I'm bringing before you today is a proposed ordinance amending sections 114742 and 114761 of the City of Holly Hill Land Development Regulations titled Principal Buildings and Accessory Structures and Exceptions to Minimum Yacht or Lot Coverage Requirements. The purpose of this ordinance is to reduce the rear yard setback requirements for certain pool screen enclosures when specific criteria are met. Under the city's current regulations, pool screen enclosures that exceed 300 square feet are classified as accessory structures. In the R1 zoning district, this classification requires a 30-foot rear yard setback, even though the pool itself may be located as close as 5 feet from the rear property line. So you guys can see it's a bit of a mismatch there. As a result, a homeowner may be permitted to install a pool at the 5-foot setback, but may not be allowed to screen in the same pool under the existing code. This inconsistency has created practical limitations for some homeowners. The proposed ordinance addresses this issue by allowing qualifying pool screen enclosures to follow the same 5-foot rear setback as the pool, provided specific design standards are met. These standards include limits on height, requirements that the enclosure be fully screened to preserve light and visibility, and restrictions on how far the enclosures may extend beyond the water's edge. And you guys can see those changes that we've added into that section 114742D1. And that language is underlined. To implement this change, the ordinance adds the new language in that section, establishing setback standards for compliant pool enclosures and removes outdated language from the other section, which is 114761-2. That is no longer necessary. So some of those changes that we made, they may be placed up to 5 feet from the rear property line, provided they meet the criteria that they are no more than 12 feet in height. The rear, sides, and roof of the enclosure are screened, and other than framing, do not contain any solid surfaces that impede sunlight to surrounding properties. And the enclosure does not extend more than 7 feet beyond the water's edge, except for that portion of the enclosure that is connected to and an integral part of the principal structure. However, in no case may the enclosure be closer than 5 feet from the rear property line in any instance. And then in section 114761-2, you'll see that we struck out the whole section. It was a bit redundant to have it in there, and it just kind of repeated what we already said. So, staff, based on these considerations, staff recommends the city, that you guys, I'm sorry.
Board of Planning and Appeals, that's
There we
okay.
go.
Go ahead. We got you.
Staff recommends that BOPA forward their approval to commission to adopt the ordinance of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, amending sections 114742 and 114761 of the city code to amend the setback requirements for pool screen enclosures, meeting specific criteria and removing unnecessary language. Sorry about that. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Nobody can have a 3-meter board then, right? Because if you have a 3-meter board and you can only be 12 feet high,
I'm sorry, no.
I said, no one can have a 3-meter diving board because
Kinda
if you have a
hit your head.
3-meter diving board and it's only 12 feet high, you're going to go through the screen, right?
It
Okay,
does seem that way.
okay.
I don't think you can dig a pool that deep around here. So I don't think you can dig a pool that deep around here.
Maybe. All right, questions for Mr. Steele? So I have a question for you, Scott. So we make this recommendation, but the wording, as I went through the ordinances, you rewrite the wording, right? So, because number 2 is gone, so then number 2 will be will be gone, then 3 will be
The changes
2.
will be shown up as, what's deleted is stricken through, additions are underlined. Then when it goes to what's called Municode, which is the service that puts together our ordinances.
Right.
They'll put it together without any underlines or strike-throughs, a finished paragraph.
Right, because I got it. So those paragraphs will just be rewritten and then,
They'll rewrite it and put it in, so it's online without strike-throughs and underlines.
right,
But it will go to the commission with strike-throughs and underlines so they can see what the
right,
changes are.
okay, okay. Go.
Are we doing this for somebody in particular, or are we just changing this?
This is applicable to everybody.
That's, it's not like a certain person that's
There
requesting.
are people that are waiting on this type of change
Oh,
in order to be able to put a fully screened-in pool enclosure over their pool.
Gotcha.
The rules, 5 feet from the rear property line, they may have already built that, and maybe they didn't know prior to that, the enclosure is, the square footage of the pool is so big that the enclosure has to adhere to that, and they can't put anything on top of it.
okay, so there's not an individual applicant that we're doing this for, we're just kind of doing it for like an umbrella.
See, this is a mismatch, I guess you could say, in these 2 different codes, so it's kind of fixing that.
Cleaning it up, sort of, okay, I guess.
This was something that we've known for a long time needed to be cleaned up.
Right.
But it wasn't being done because there's so many, you have to kind of triage with our code, what things need to be fixed first, what's most important, what things can you put on the back burner and not worry about right now. So it's always been something that I knew needed to be done, but it wasn't until people started coming in and asking for it that we said, okay, now would be the time to do it. So while it's not being done for a specific individual, it's because of specific requests that now this action that's been needing to have been done for years is being done.
Gotcha, okay. Thank you.
So, and before their remedy was to apply for a variance and then go through the whole process. But since it was a code, it would be hard to get the variance.
Right, and no one applied for it because the way that the variance language is written and the criteria for it, they wouldn't be able to meet the criteria. So it is one of those things where, we looked at what other cities do, and most or all of them have a provision whereby you can have your pool screen or an enclosure put over your in-ground pool, especially if the city or the municipality allows you to put the pool 5 feet from the property line. We allow you to put the pool 5 feet from the property line, but then say you have to be 20 or 30 feet away if you want to have an enclosure. So without people knowing that, it just created a situation where they have these pools and then they're not able to actually enclose them.
I got another question. Okay. Going back to the last applicant, didn't it used to be from, like, on the commission, if they met all 6 criteria, like they did, could you not approve that? Or is that something that we had to approve regardless, as long as they met all 6 criteria?
Well, meeting the 6 criteria is staff's opinion, but staff's opinion, and Scott can correct me, staff's opinion is substantial competent evidence. If you want to go against that, you can, but you have to have substantial competent evidence or a good reason to go against the recommendation if staff feels that they meet all 6 criteria. But you can look at it and say, well, we don't feel that it meets this criteria and that criteria. And ultimately, if you decide that not all the criteria are met, you can recommend denial.
Wasn't there certain situations that, when I was on the commission, I thought if they met all the criteria that there really wasn't much you could do about it? Was that something different?
When you're in any quasi-judicial setting, whether it's rezonings, variances, special exceptions, especially with variances and special exceptions, you have criteria they have to meet. Staff's opinion on criteria is part of, like Brian said, that's evidence, good evidence to rely upon. But you may have opposition that comes forward, and they come forward with good arguments as to why no, it's not, does not comply. And many of the variance criteria are subjective. I mean, there's a subjective judgment, such as it's not a self-created hardship. I could say that was self-created because they wanted to put the solar panel there.
Right.
You created the hardship, I mean, so you could flip that around however you want it. But you need substantial competent evidence to support whatever decision you make, whether for or against a variance. So if somebody comes in and they meet all 6 criteria, and you're not presented with any competent evidence that they don't meet the 6 criteria, then yes, you need to approve it.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, that's you, but so if you want to say, staff comes forward, and this board's opinion is substantial competent evidence, so goes to the commission, and the commission has your opinion, recommendation, has staff's recommendation, those are the 2 main parts of the substantial competent evidence that you get from the city, if you will, as a commissioner. But if evidence is brought forward during the public hearing, that may present substantial competent evidence that you can rely upon to say no, to deny the variance. And it's ultimately on the applicant to meet the burden. So once the applicant meets the burden, then the burden really kind of shifts to the city to say, you didn't approve their request, they met the burden, now you said no, city, so let me look at, what a judge would say is, let me look at the evidence you relied upon to say no. And if I find that it was substantial competent evidence, okay, then. And you can have a situation where there's substantial competent evidence going either way. And the court's not going to.
Would substantial competent evidence be someone that came up from the audience and said, I made this application 4 years ago, exactly for this same thing, and it was denied?
I would say they'd have to go into why it was denied,
Right.
to present the case. And one of the things, and we're kind of getting way off track, but that's okay. One of the issues that comes up when you deal with substantial and competent evidence, substantial is just a greater weight of the evidence. Competent can get tough for you, as a commissioner, for you to enforce, because, especially like on a rezoning case, you're going to get people to come in and say, this is going to cause flooding, this development's going to cause flooding, this development's going to cause traffic, this development's going to decrease my property values. The three most popular things any opposition ever says to any project, those are them. And the courts have unanimously said, all three of those take expert opinions, not a layperson's opinion. That is an expert opinion. So if you want to come in and talk about flooding, you better have a stormwater engineer. You want to come in and talk about traffic, you better have a traffic engineer. If you want to come in and talk about property values, impacts, you better have an appraiser. Because otherwise, you can't rely on a resident saying that. Now, residents can come in and give what they observe. My property floods now. Okay, your property floods now. Or it takes me 3 light changes to get through this intersection. That's an observed fact. But to say, what is going to be the impact of this development after it gets developed on flooding, traffic, that is an expert opinion. And so you got to bring the experts in. So that may be a lot more than what you were asking for, but
No, it's.
kind of coming back now.
Yeah, I remember all that, yeah. And it's funny, because even with all the engineers, St. Water and everything else, the fact was, if you get 23 inches of rain in 24 hours, it doesn't matter if it works on paper, it's still gonna flood. People just don't realize
Actually,
that.
23 inches of rain in 24 hours doesn't work on paper either.
Oh, yeah.
It just doesn't work.
No, I'm just saying, all the stuff that they do in advance
Yeah.
that supposedly works and moves that, you just can't move that much water.
That's May of 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
May of 2009.
I think the city manager has told people, when people were getting up and complaining, he said, look, if we get another hurricane like Milton,
Right.
you're gonna flood again.
Yep.
I mean, no system is designed to handle that capacity. It's just the way it is.
Right.
You do the best we can, improve it the best we can, maintain it the best we can, so at least it functions the way it was designed, but it wasn't designed for 23 inches of rain in 24 hours. It's just-
We haven't had a motion yet, have we? I would entertain a motion to recommend to the city commission that we adopt an ordinance of the city of Holly Hill, Florida, amending sections 114-742 and 114-761 of the city code to amend the setback requirement for pool screen enclosures, meeting specific criteria and removing unnecessary language. Do I have that motion?
Make a motion, we accept it as read.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Okay, I have a motion and a second. You guys don't want to make motions and seconds.
Hey, you guys don't talk
I
much.
kept looking at you in case you did. All right. All right. Is there any more discussion? No? Please call the question.
I did miss whoever seconded. I'm so, okay. Okay, Tony Casada?
Yes.
Kim Nguyen? Yes. I'm so sorry, I said that backwards, I do apologize. Dennis Smith?
Yes.
John Danio?
Yes.
Tony Casada?
Yes.
Kim Nguyen? And Mike Meyer?
Yes. Have we any old business that we need to take care of? Yeah. Got any communication for us, Brian? Or
No, sir. No, just
Mr. Steele? Nothing? All right. Then I guess we'll probably,
Question.
you may.
I'm going to talk to the meeting server. Did I understand in your presentation for number one, that somebody told them, and I'm not a solar energy person at all, they said it would work better on the ground than it would on the roof?
Yes, that's correct.
We're done. It's been passed.
Yes, that's correct. They had their original contractor came out and told them with, the way their roof was, it's not feasible for them to put it on their roof.
Is it, have you seen that? Dennis, your
I know that
contractor,
they
you seen it on the ground
tiled
before?
but-
I've seen them on the ground, yeah.
Son has them, and he's in Greenville.
Houses or commercial?
Houses, I've
he's
seen
got
them on the ground, but I don't understand with that house. I don't understand.
Yeah, I can't really,
I really don't understand.
You go back to that first.
go back to the front yard one.
It's not clay tile.
My
Clay
son,
tile is-
when he bought the house 5 years ago, he's in Greenville.
You can't, you
Gets
don't
like
even get a good
$19,
picture of it
$20
either.
electric bills. It's great. But they're in the side yard on the ground too.
Their contractor did provide documentation, I can provide that. They did provide documentation stating that it would void their warranty and it would probably damage their roof.
It almost looked like a flat roof in a way,
I mean, they all damaged the roof.
right?
I mean, everything damaged,
That's a lot of weight.
yeah, everything damages the roof, but, I mean, I know the house, I live around the corner. Unless that turret in the front is blocking, because the solar panels are facing the same way as the front of the roof.
Yeah, it's just-
That'd be the only,
Insurance companies require.
You can't tell if it's a pitch or a
Well,
flat.
those property lines are about 25 degrees northwest. So just come over here and bend that thing to where south is, where the sun's going to always be, right?
I think they're gonna.
It's going to hit, yeah. I looked at all the pictures, every picture, the sun's there. There's plenty of sun right there. So
Yeah.
I think,
Actually, I have a 10-foot incline.
yeah.
So I know when it comes over my house, you know, when it comes over,
Is that by you? That's by you, isn't it? This one, sort of by you, isn't it?
that's the next street over, yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what it is.
Well, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Do I have a second?